Hello and welcome back to Ankford Play. So I just remembered that there's actually a tactics system, I think. Isn't there? Like area of effect, highlight main companions before death, show qualifiers, showing game tutorials. I feel like there's a tactics character, journal, maps, options, character. Isn't there a tactics thing? Race Meadowfolk, okay. I don't know why, but I sort of like convinced myself that there's a tactics system in here, but I guess there isn't. Character? Journal. Okay.
Not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Following your lead.
yes?
Okay. Okay, put this there.
I shall. Yeah?
I feel like there was a tactics system, but I guess there isn't.
Just say the word.
I might be wrong then, I guess. Difficulty. Auto level companions. If enable this option will auto level companions to the player's current level following a standard level progression. If disabled, player may choose the level progression. Auto pause. Character hit. Spell cast. Attack destroyed. Graphics. Seems fine, I guess. Big heads. Why would I? Big heads mode give characters' heads are ludicrously disproportionate to their bodies. Thanks, Jaws. Sound. Abilities. Next ability. Previous ability. It's the keypad? Jesus Christ, really? Why the keypad? That's weird. Okay.
Hope you're not expecting much.
Hey there.
Hey,
Okay.
It is what
Let's-
is my cousin promised? So be it.
Let's try this. Creates a field of holy energy as a free, burning any vessels in the vicinity and regenerating a modest no. Increases the zone of divine fairy, increases the might and resolve of allies in the area of effect. Okay.
Just...
That shall stop us!
We're losing, folks.
Okay, we actually got pretty close this time. Weird. Weird. We actually got pretty close this time. We actually got both the spellcasters, which is important.
Not a problem.
So I guess let's try it again.
Watch and learn.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Ready when you are.
Following your lead.
How may I help?
What?
Okay.
Hey there.
It is... So be it.
Okay. I feel like I did better before. I was probably starting to get bored to look at the same boss battle over and over again, but jeez,
Not a problem.
I don't fucking know anymore.
What has my cousin promised you? So be it.
Okay. It's already gone. They fall very quickly.
You better You better run! You
Just get quiet.
Okay. What is even like? Okay, you know what? We're going somewhere else and then we're coming back. Enough of this. This silliness can't be right that we're letting ourselves get killed over and over again. Going somewhere else. Fuck it.
Not a problem.
Come back later. Oh, jeez. I feel like I keep getting into situations like this. Where I'm just kind of holding on to the hope that maybe I'll just come back later. I just hate farming, really. It comes down to me hating farming. Like, farming is like the worst game mechanic ever. I really do believe that. I'm not just shooting shit here. I really think that. Climb back down. Farming is the worst fucking game mechanic ever conceived. I hate farming. That's why I never really got into Pokemon. It's really like... ugh. Doing the same monotonous task over and over again. Let's see, we're starting to have a pretty keep, aren't we?
You know, there are accounts of watchers in all of the regions I've visited. If the adventuring life doesn't work out for you, you could always read souls for coin, give people advice, tell them which family they're related to and whom they should duel for past offenses.
I could probably convince people of all sorts of things. But that's not quite the approach I was thinking of, but very true.
Ready when you are.
What is this place? Oh, this is the main
Elegant
key.
yet understated. I had no idea.
Wonderful. Oh, that used to be a laboratory. Wait, no, this is not just the the main keep. This is like that inn I built, isn't it? Huh. Pretty.
You must.
Pretty, pretty, pretty. Let's go into the main keep though. Didn't I fix this?
It is good to see you here. I can feel a change in the air already. There is much to do. Is there anything I can do to help?
What's the state of the keep? Where to begin? Let's see here. Finished in 1 day and 10 hours. Oh well, we'll just rest. Eight hours has passed. Keep passing those hours. Main keep construction completed. Okay. Let's see what it looks like now that it's fixed. Oh, not bad.
I trust all is well. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
People are starting to notice your hard work. I dare say we'll have more visitors shortly. I'm glad you decided to stay on, my lord. It's been difficult watching this place tumble into decay time and again. To see it restored is... I can imagine the great crowds, the petitioners, music, perhaps in the evenings? I've gotten carried away, haven't I? Here's the report. Okay. The Western Barbican. Pleasure of adventure to come across the East Fen River. Where the main keep will prepare your great hall, allowing visitors and adventurers to be available to you and your companions. Bailey. The dungeons. A chapel and oh, there's a lot of stuff here. It's like playing Heroes of Might and Magic, actually. In a way. I mean, on a smaller scale. I mean, you travel a little bit more large scale in Heroes, of course, but it definitely feels a little bit like Heroes. This is like my favorite part of Heroes. The Hero series is to see like the castle slowly growing and the area around it getting stuff and such. That's a really cool detail. Okay, let's leave for the Eastern Barbican. Eastern Barbican. So I guess we're going to that city, Defiance Bay.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
Let's see. Oh. Oh, wooden planes. I'm kind of expecting Raedric's Keep to become mine. It probably isn't going to become mine, but I don't know. Got here.
Hush, Itumak. We'll just wait a little longer.
Dwarven woman, dressed in skins and hides, leans against. Oh, I have her as a playing card, or a trading card on Steam. Her face is turned down, her eyes darkened by a thick stripe of face paint. She's sharpening a bone arrowhead with a scrimshaw-handled knife. Her attention, however, is focused on a bear figurine between her feet. A large white-furred fox hanging on her heels looks up at you as you approach.
Easy, Itumak. It's not him.
Who are you waiting for?
Short version? I'm looking for a very, very old friend. I'm not sure what skin he's wearing now, but I'll know him when I see him.
Were your friends supposed to meet you here?
That's what I heard. Of course, the man who told me so was carrying a staff he claimed was made from dragon bone, but I know whitewood when I see it. That should have been my first clue, but I had to try something.
What does this stranger have to do with your friend?
The long version. Here we go. I'm from an island to the far south called Nasitak. I came here looking for a village elder, a man we knew as Persok. I'm a hunter back home, so tracking someone wouldn't normally be a problem. But Persok's trail is cold, to say the least.
Why can't you find him? There can't be that many of your people in Durwood. He died when I was still a young girl. Forgot to mention that part, did I? I'm looking for his latest reincarnation, which could be anyone. How long have you been looking for Persok? 5 years. So you're searching 5 years for a stranger you barely remember. Who could be anyone now? Who could be anyone now?
That about sums it up.
Then this must be an important duty.
So I keep reminding myself. Still, it would be nice if important duties came with clearer instructions.
How does that statuette figure into it? It's carved into the shape of a bear, smooth around. The polished etching is worn to a dull mat along its arch.
Cute, isn't it? It belonged to Persok. Before he returned to the wheel, he left a splinter of his soul in it. Something to help us find him later.
As you hold it to her, you feel a wisp of sensation. Not quite memories, but traces of someone.
When I left Nasitak, it was completely dark inside. But as I've gotten closer to Persok, it's glowed steadily brighter. Since I've reached the Deerwood, however, it's gotten hard to read. Some days it flickers and goes dark. Others it shines nice and bright, for a few hours. But most of the time it looks just like this.
What will you do now?
I can tell you what I won't do again. Rely on miracle peddlers. It was some so-called watcher who sent me to this crossroads in the middle of nowhere in the first place. I was on my way out of the Balmarsh when I heard talk of a traveling mystic who could supposedly see souls. I knew it was a long shot, but what did I have to lose? I went to see this fellow and gave him the Audra figurine. He made a big show of moaning and rolling his eyes, and after I'd given him 5 golden dukes to lift the shroud, he told me to seek the crossroads in the field between the wolf's lair and the twining trees.
What's a wolf's lair? Defined spay, locals call the current Duke Wolfgrin. Sounds like he'd be fun to drink with. Go on.
He thought he was being vague, but I know the area well enough to recognize that he meant this place, right between Defiance Bay and Twin Elms. I had a bad taste in my mouth, but my coin was spent and I'd already left an arrow in his knapsack as a friendly warning. Told him I'd come back and leave him with another if it turned out he was giving me the runaround. I've been here a week now. Guess he had the last laugh after all.
May I see the figurine?
Why?
I just want a better look at it.
Fine. But if you try to run, just remember that my arrows are faster.
You raise the outer bear, turning it in the light. As your eyes catch a tiny glinting scratch, the scenery around you melts away. You're standing on a cliff overlooking the water, seeing through the eyes that aren't your own. Cast a musk of beasts amidst the fresh scent of vegetation, and your heart beats a little faster. You have to watch your step up here. You look down just long enough to see the sharp, pale cliffs drop into the water hundreds of feet below you. I see a vision of cliffs high over the water. Does that sound familiar? Your question is greeted with shrugs and silence. I've got it. He's standing on a cliff.
What are you talking about? What just happened?
I'm a real watcher. She blinks at you a few times, calculating. If you see the way he stares at dead things, you'd know he's serious.
You realize I've got no coin to give you, even if I did believe you.
Come with me. I've got other business in the area, and we can look for Persok on the way.
Sure.
Yay! Sorry, lady. We got a hunter with
Ready
us.
when you are. Hey,
Well, I guess talking to a crazy watcher is better than talking to no watcher at all. I was wondering about Aethys.
it makes two of us.
Do you still worship him?
In my way. I don't suppose he expects me to show up at his temple these days. Not much left to do for him other than keep his memory alive and keep hoping that he's just been playing a joke on all of us these past 15 years.
As far as I know, he hasn't said anything to anybody since the god hammer detonated. Why worship him then? Well, if it turns out he's not dead and I give up on him, I'd have betrayed my god twice. Even the god of redemption's gotta have standards. Probably reborn as Fat Elmer's horse. It's not really it though. Not all of it anyway. Guess it's more I still believe in the things he believed in. I just hope his death doesn't mean the death of those things as well. Sometimes it looks that way. What made you think Waidwin didn't speak for Aethys?
Was his actions. Not when he started his rebellion, and not even when he took over Raed Saris. It was when he sent his armies into Deerwood.
Up to that point, he was sticking up for his people. That's what Aethys does, at least the Gorn part of him. Those farmers were starving and the government didn't lift a finger. I figured if it wasn't Aethys himself, at least he had the right idea. But then he sent armies across the border, even crossed it himself in the end. Word was he was chasing refugees that escaped the rebellion, wanted to punish them and punish us for allowing them to live here. That just didn't fit for me. Those are deeds of a vengeful god, Skaen or Vodica maybe. Or just a man who'd lost his sense. Still have trouble believing it, but there's no one left to ask if it's true. Why did you choose to worship Aethys in the beginning?
Raised that way. My family's been Aethasian going way back. Suppose it wasn't much of a choice at first. Don't know for sure why my family started worshipping him. Probably because of Gon looking after folks like us.
Could just as well be that my ancestor did something so bad only Aethys could forgive. Explain a lot about where I got some of my less respectable traits. Did you only worship him because that's how you were raised?
Mm-mm. There was something I genuinely liked about Aethys. Always. Like he understood people better than the other gods. Knew all our flaws and weaknesses and accepted us for that. Folks are at their worst when they're afraid. A god like Aethys, he made you realize there was nothing to fear. Made you a better person. Of course, he goes away for a few years and look what happens.
Tell me about the purchase.
You sure you don't want to talk about something more pleasant? Like the War of Black Trees or the Legacy or something?
It's eye-opening, seeing just how naked you are when you got no god to protect you. The Saints' War was a hard time to beat a wooden. Deerwooden. People thought it was the end times. They talked big about how we were gonna defeat a god, but I don't think there was a man from here to the White March that didn't think he was gonna die. It does something to you, thinking you're gonna die at someone else's hands. There's a rage that comes, indignation. Imagine a whole country full of that. Might have been Cold Morn they started it, town near the border. They let Vaidwin march right through. Rest of Deerwood cursed their names to the end of the war. Some say it was the Eofians there that persuaded the town not to oppose the army. Others say it was just cowardice. It was like the Legacy that way. No one knew the real reason, so they just picked whichever one suited what they wanted to believe. Either way, that town was burning before the first ashes of Aethys hit the ground. And it felt good to the people there, to be in control of being so helpless. So fire spread. A lot of us Eothasians went the way of our god. There were claims from the Church of Makron that she'd actually commanded the purchase. I found that hard to believe. Sounded to me like people were doing what they wanted, wrapping their god around like was a cloak. Then again, that's what I thought about Vaidwin. What is there to know about Athos?
If you're looking to find religion, maybe you want to start with a god that hasn't been burned to dust, but I won't stop you. Aethys, he was a young man with a silver crown. Carried a candle around with him. Sounds like I'm giving a bad eulogy here.
He was a lot of different things to different people, I guess. Rebirth, redemption, light. Out in the country, he's gone, the farmer, who helps all things pass, seasons and people both. He watches over the weak, does gone, sees imbalances made right. You can see why all the coupleless rowdies around here might take a liking to someone like that. He was real popular here for a time. These days, you won't find too many worthy neophytes in the open. It's hard to know who still does it in private and who's given up. Feels like I'm the last one sometimes. If that's the case, he deserves all the mourning. I want you to ask you something about something else.
What's on your mind?
I want you to ask something about you. You're sure? Why did you stay for so long in a town that hated you?
Well, I'm sure my parents are still wondering the same thing. The Aothasian purges were like this madness had come over the town, like a disease. Seems like when you see something like that, your instinct is to wait for it to pass, even when you know it probably won't. The family whose farm I worked on, they had a little Hollowborn girl. And they heard the Animancers had this cure, the Salvation it was called. They went running. This Salvation, they were putting animal souls in children. You might have heard about it, giving them enough personality to care for themselves. Well, you can guess how that turned out. Matter of time, the children broke down, became wild things, monsters. Anyway, these farmers put the family dog's soul in their little girl. For a while, the girl, she's making eye contact, she's feeding herself, albeit in a kind of messy way. And one day she snaps. They found her gnawing on her brother's bones. Had to chain her up, put her in a cow pen. Well, the mother, she wouldn't have anything to do with the girl after that. But the father, he'd visit every day. Feed her chickens, toss water on her once in a while to get the dirt off. Most of the village, they'd whisper about him. Poor man, they'd say, sick with grief. He was just waiting for his daughter to look up one day and recognize her papa. He was waiting for her to get better. Didn't understand that at the time, of course, but these days I think about him a lot.
What did you do before this?
Oh, other than the war, I never strayed too far from where you found me. Farming, mostly. I was never much for cities. Never learned a trade. In my younger days, I thought I was going to go preach the word of Aethys. Just in our temple there. My parents encouraged it. I made so much trouble for them growing up. They used to say it'd be best if I got in good with the God of Redemption. Of course, us blowing him up probably didn't help my chances there. But if anybody'd forgive you for blowing him up, it'd be Aethys.
Did the people of Gilville really try to kill you?
They, they did. It was strange timing, because we just won the war. They celebrated when I came home. There was music and dancing. Trumbull used half his grain making this big honey cake. I still dream about that cake. Like having the best lover of your life, but only for one night. And they were all sorry to hear about my brother. Took a while for word of the purges to reach us. Aothasians being murdered in the streets. Cold morn and the like. No way would they let something like that happen in Gilded Vale. That's what they all said. But the weeks went by and the purges spread. Pretty soon they weren't so sure my brother fought for Deerwood. And they weren't so sure I did. Caught me by surprise after all the celebrating. Should have seen it coming after the tailor said he was going to fit me for some new clothes, but then all he wanted was my neck measurement.
Whoa.
Nah, not that last part. But you had to think about it. Says a lot about the place I've been calling home all these years.
Do you have a family? Just my parents now. They took ship back to Ada when the purges started. Wanted me to go with them, but I didn't see things like they did. Been a long time since I've seen them. I really should visit, but for some reason I haven't much felt like leaving home. Good thing they chased me out, or I might have never left. Tell me about your brother.
Woden was, about everything you'd want your firstborn son to be. Dutiful, honest, put thought into everything he did. Real pain in my ass. Made me look bad about every way he could. It wasn't something he tried to do, but of course that just makes it worse. Not that he didn't get into trouble himself. He was just better about feeling guilty after. But we used to have this farmer near us, Hereward. Couldn't stop talking about how well he cared for his chickens. How their feathers were the whitest in town. Convinced the butcher to pay him double what the other farmers got. Me and Woden got tired of hearing it. I was maybe 11, 12 at the time. We borrowed about 6 different dyes from the dyer one day. Dyed Hereward's chickens every color but
No.
white. Next morning, the butcher comes knocking, asking for 6 of his whitest chickens. We were feeling great, up until Hereward saw what we'd done. He just got on his knees and cried right there. All those colorful chickens around him, not knowing what to make of it. I thought it served him right, but I could tell Woden had other thoughts. Sure enough, the next day, every one of those chickens had been scrubbed down. They weren't white, mind you, but Woden sure tried. Never said a word to me about it, but I knew. That was Woden. My parents, they always let us be who we were. Never told me to be more like him or anything like that. Which was good, because I was never gonna. What's on your mind?
Let's keep moving. Okay, so that was actually interesting. We're getting to. I think next episode will be very much a talky episode, because let's get to know these guys. Until then, bye.